Yeah, we're going to see when he feels those knuckles.
I want to take him after the six rounds, take him to the deeper water and show him the really boxing.
Sparring, but sparring. I don't care who you spar with.
Moses Itauma, a 21-year-old British boxer who has made a mark on the world of boxing by his amazing skills and fast movements. He has a perfect record of 13-0 and is known for finishing fights very quickly. But one thing that Moses hates the most are cocky, arrogant boxers who fight with their mouths rather than fists, and these fighters didn't know it. So Moses made sure that they never repeat the same mistake ever again. And the first victim on the list is Dan Garber body.
100%, I want to cause an upset. If I cause an upset, look what it does to me. It skyrockets me.
Plus, there's another one in his own corner, clubbing left.
Dan Garber and Moses Itauma went head-to-head on March 3rd, 2024. From the very start of the match, Dan was a back foot to use his long reach and potentially test Itauma's chin. But Moses never forgets disrespect.
But Itauma carries on and...
Dan tries to look for an opening, but Moses punishes him.
There's Garber, there's a fair play to him. His hands are getting quicker. He's got this. He's going to let it go. The end feels close. Itauma putting his foot and stopping. There's a chopping left hand. At the moment, he can left hand counter, but it's every target. And yes, keeps peppering for that big left hand to land. He's got really found about his work impressively here. In the look behind the jab. There's again that first. Fast short. Right-handed.
The flashbacks came back to haunt him.
Sparring, but sparring. I don't care who you spar with.
Caught him flush. There's another one in his own corner, clubbing left. And the referee's having a look again, and he caught it.
The ref stops the fight in the very first round after Moses Gatling punches. He showed Dan that fists talk louder than mouths and extended his streak to 8-0. But this is nothing compared to what Moses did to his next victim, Marius Wach. On July 27, 2024, Moses stepped into the ring with the Polish giant, Marius Wach. Wach is an experienced fighter with more than 50 fights under his belt. And at the time, Moses had an ongoing streak of 9-0. But before the fight, Marius did something that he would regret later on.
I want to take him after the six rounds, take him to the deeper water and show him the really boxing. Come here to stop his career and make surprise for everyone.
Well, the only surprise that Marius was about to get was a beating that he will never forget for the rest of his life. Marius is a 6'7" giant, and the size difference between the two was clearly visible, and he uses that to his advantage.
On his record, this Itauma.
Absolutely no notice about how good Itauma far away before this kid's an opponent.
I reckon I'll be able to take them all. That is clearly low.
Reason for this, but I always feel like the guys with a lot of tonight, who knows?
After just the first round, it looked as if Marius was already out of breath, and Moses showed him that size doesn't matter. In round 2, Moses came at Marius with more aggression because his dinner was getting cold.
In the following 5 years after that, he's spent a long time in his career, since he's only won 5 fights since then.
At a point, he was, I think, if Moses Itauma, that was a lovely shot.
Suddenly, this happened.
Any major risk, but again the speed being shown to the full effect. Again switching from head to body, and that is forced to cover up on the ropes here.
And that was what was really good about that combat. Student of the game, like always.
He isn't in a hurry. I want a step-by-step approach, he said, and that was a little open. Down to the right, and he goes. Big step.
A ferocious right hook sent the giant to the canvas. However, Marius quickly gets back up to save the fight. But Moses knows Marius is stunned, and he leaps in to finish the fight.
Delivered the power, and he might end this. And there's been a look of genuine fear in the eyes of Wach since the start of this fight, and he cannot fend his man off, and the referee is going to stop it.
The Polish giant was left with no other option but to defend himself, and he could only pray to God because he couldn't do any counterattack thanks to Moses's immense pressure. Moses retained his title and got revenge for the disrespect. But after this fight, Moses had to face another loudmouth. Dezy McKeen was another giant loudmouth who stood in Moses' way on December 21st, 2024. But before the fight, Dezy Shy talked about Moses, which he doesn't take lightly.
Yeah, we're going to see when he feels those knuckles. Not 100% certain that Moses is going to come away with the win there as well.
While that's chin testing didn't age well because Moses was on a 10-0 streak and he had no plans to break it just yet. But McKeen is also known for quick fights, so everyone thought that it would be a long night.
Down for Moses Itauma as he looks to catapult himself to the higher echelons of the heavyweight division. In double front of him in Dezy McKeen with ambition. 12th round. He's ridiculous.
Moses starts faking his right hand just to take McKeen off guard.
He's setting traps, raise. Looks like he's got a longer reach also. With this,
The mobility, the speed of shot from Itauma.
Moses' fake finally worked, and when McKeen thought he wouldn't extend, the light went out.
He works that body, he might be in trouble.
A sharp right lowers McKeen's guard, and a dangerous left punch catches him on the back of his head. But Dezy quickly gets back up after spending some seconds on his knees. However, Moses knows that Dezy's brain is not braining anymore, so he goes all out.
Look at the elbows, look how wide the elbows are, you gotta be careful.
Suddenly, the final knockout arrives that decides the match. Moses fakes a duck, and a ferocious left hook catches Dezy on the face, and he gets knocked out cold. While Dezy was on the ground, the only thing go through his mind was his trash talk.
Yeah, we're going to see when he feels those knuckles.
Moses not only wins new gold for himself, but also tells the cocky fighters that disrespecting him comes at a great cost. But Mike Belogan is clear. Moses and Mike Belogan fought each other on the 24th of May 2025, and Mike had only lost one match before meeting Moses. While everyone thought that this would be an equal fight, it became the greatest humbling for Mike because Mike said some things he shouldn't have before the fight.
But you're gonna get learned a lesson though. It's no mistakes in getting lessons learned. You know, everybody needs to learn. It's an educational process, bro.
Hitting but aging and a tad vulnerable. And Frank George in front audiences. So here he is in so fast.
He's in and out of range, but always fainted, always Belogan, as you say. Last 16, if he wants to have a chance, we see.
Not supposed to move your body the way that he did. He moves like a middleweight with the power of a heavyweight.
Then he released the shots that will put his opponent in a blender.
And already, just slightly, remember, Murat Gassiev did him in two. And he's going for it. And Moses Itauma can take him out.
That right hand up, he can't miss with the left hand. Too low from the American.
They're going to tap it out, but the pride got him up.
What was impressive though, he threw the left hand once, didn't land cleanly. Very rarely does that.
And Moses, that would be a massive step up. But the mayor of business, which he's doing very in a treat.
And because he knows he has the power and the...
At the start of the second round, he terminated Belogan.
Look down at the timekeeper there, side of the ring. Shot.
Lovely time right hook there, and to be fair, the fight was over.
Heavy knockdowns, the second especially, and he's...
Yeah, he's to get up and that's some super...
And finished in the second round. Moses Itauma lights up Glasgow. He did it.
Itauma has spent just an hour in the ring and 13 wins. His knockout proficiency is tested. Dillian was Moses' latest victim in the biggest fight of his career on August 16, 2025. Moses was not only defending his 2 titles, but the match was also for the Commonwealth. To top it all off, it was also Moses' time to teach Mike a humbling lesson about his loud mouthing.
I don't know, man, but there's no sheep around there, you know. There's no sheep around there. There's a lot of wolves around there, but no sheep. Decided to find out, man, you know. We decided to find out, you know. I'm not gonna sit here and say this and say that, but you know what I come to do. All this show come to fight, and nothing changed, you know.
Well, Dillian didn't know that this won't age well like he expected.
Southpaw, not much happened. Has 7 first round.
Power through that speed turns into the rubbish that to Moses Itauma. Feet are gonna have to be
As soon as the bell rang, that's going to be important. You can get that on points.
in front of his face, Dillian Wach, because we've seen how dangerous.
Who's settled.
With just a minute and a half round, Moses goes all out.
Too much for Dillian. He's shot, and he's going to go down. Body shot flash out. Right in desperate trap very early. Can he survive this place? Referee having a close look at a time.
After surviving dozens of devastating blows, Dillian goes to give up.
So spiteful. Everything about it, a little dip of the knees, the intelligence.
And the ref had to step in to stop the match.
To his feet. He does it. Inside around. And Moses hits.
This was Itauma's biggest career win, and now he is the Commonwealth, WBO Intercontinental, and WBA International Heavyweight Champion.
Moses! Itauma!
Moses and Ilia fought each other on the 18th of May 2024 in Riyadh, Moses' playground. The match was set for 10 rounds, and the vacant WBO Intercontinental Heavyweight title was on the line. For most people, this was supposed to be a long fight, because Ilia had 25 wins with just 4 losses. But if you know Moses, you know he doesn't spend too much time on fights.
Nice and fast. A good block shot. Speed. It's light reactions.
He does it too well for the fella.
Doesn't he, Mike? Absolutely, and he did there.
Tried it straight. Hook. Hook upstairs.
With just a minute into the first round, Ilia had taken some serious punches from Moses.
Can't see the center of the guard.
Handles a little bit of adversity. He's gone the distance twice. Well, this fight's already gone longer than his last bout. He beat Burnett.
He should be peppering him with his jab.
It looked as if Ilia is only there to work as a punching bag for Moses Itauma because he had no counterattack or offense. All he was doing was just hanging on. With 10 seconds left on the clock, Moses unleashed his fury.
Feint.
Oh, massive left hand. And Masinta back into the corner, eats a right and another left. He's trying to hold on, but Itauma not letting him.
The bell barely saved Ilia after that death punch. Now that Moses had stunned Ilia, it was time to finish the fight and send Ilia back to Germany.
19-year-old.
I love Itauma. He's such a young man.
Oh, look at that!
What a shot!
What a combination. Oh, the body isn't working anymore. They'll wave it off. Moses Itauma makes it look so easy.
A dead 1-2 punch combo drops Ilia cold on the mat, and even after trying to get up, his legs were still wobbly. So the ref stops the fight, and Moses wins the match in just the second round. Now, everyone in the boxing division knows that if you disrespect Moses, you will sleep on the coach. But if you don't hit the like and subscribe button, I will knock you out. So make sure to hit both buttons.